Welcome back to another one of my videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lotta, and today I'm going to show you how I made this really delicious sour cream cake. So every year for our birthdays, my brother and I would get a version of this cake, and it's just so delicious. So I figured I would finally share the recipe with you guys, and I hope you like it as well. Now, as usual, we're going to start by making the actual dough. So as you can tell, I already went ahead and measured out all of my ingredients in my lovely old mustard cups. Now, for the dough, you're going to need 4 room temperature eggs, 2 packages of vanilla sugar or just a really good splash of vanilla extract, 1 cup of sugar, 1 package of baking powder or 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3 cups of flour, and then 1 cup each of oil and Fresca. Now you can use really any lemon lime soda, and for the oil you can also use olive oil, but that's just going to give you a little bit more of that olive oil taste. So I would recommend using more of a neutral oil like canola or vegetable oil. Now the good thing about this cake is you can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. All you have to do is change the size of your cup or to what line you want to measure on your cup, but the ratio stays the same. 1 cup of sugar to 3 cups of flour to 1 cup of oil and 1 cup of soda. Now I tried to stay as accurate as possible to where I measured out all my ingredients, but this recipe is meant to be super easy and quick, so honestly don't sweat it. Now essentially all we're doing for this cake is whisking together our sugar, eggs, and vanilla until that's pretty creamy, and then we basically just add in the rest of our ingredients. Now, if you want your cake to be even fluffier, you can sieve in your dry ingredients, but honestly, it's not really necessary, so I'm just gonna dump everything in. My favorite part is when the baking powder reacts with the Fresca and it gets all like bubbly and gross. Now that we have a nice and runny dough, we can just pour it into our pre-lined tin. This is going to go into the oven that's been preheated to 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until the top is nice and golden brown. And my favorite part when I was a kid was looking out the bowl because the dough is so good. Alright, now while our cake is baking, I'm going to do a bit of cleanup and do some dishes, and then we can get to making the filling. Now our cake is almost cooled off, so we can get to making our filling or our topping that's going to go right on top of our cake. So for that, I'm going to be using 400 milliliters of heavy whipping cream and 400 grams of sour cream, as well as 2 packages of vanilla sugar. Alternatively, you can use like 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar and a good splash of vanilla extract. Now I know it sounds weird to put sour cream onto a cake, but trust me, it's really good. It's the best part of the cake. I mean, the dough is good too, but the topping is just chef's kiss. Now, basically all we're going to do to make this is whip up our cream with our sugar until we have some nice stiff peaks, and then we're basically just going to fold in the sour cream. Now at this point you can also add any more sugar or vanilla or anything else you think needs to go in there, but I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm going to get to decorating. Now you want to spread about 2/3 of your cream on top of your cake and smooth that out. And then I like saving the last third of my cream to kind of do some piping on top and make it look all fancy. Now before we get to the piping and making this look super fancy, we're going to mix together 3 tablespoons of sugar with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're basically just going to sprinkle that all over the surface of our cake. And it's also going to give us a really nice contrast, so when we do our piping on top, it's going to really pop. Now this part can get pretty messy, so I would recommend either doing this over the sink or adding another baking tray underneath your cake board. That way it can catch all the leftover sugar. Now, depending on the size of your cake, you might not need to use all of your cinnamon sugar. Now, at this point, there's so many different ways that you can decorate this, and I'll let you be as creative as you want. Usually, I'll end up just piping a bit of a border and writing happy birthday in the middle, but it honestly changes every single time I make this cake. And I'll see if I can find a couple different pictures of how I decorated this cake before, so you can have some more inspiration. Now I kept my design pretty simple because there's no birthdays coming up, but I still just really wanted this cake. Now we usually also add M&Ms along the sides, but I've also used mandarins before, which was also really good. But you can basically top this with anything else that you think will go good with it. So that's going to be everything for today's video. If you enjoyed it, you can give it a thumbs up or write me a comment down below. And as always, the whole recipe is going to be in the description box as well.